Ladies and fantasizers, Andy here, day 209 of the Inner Winner Show. That's right. So we're going to talk about something that came up on a couple of coaching calls recently, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. It was basically a couple of coaching clients I had who didn't believe that they could achieve their goals, or they thought it was hopeless, or their goals were too far off, they were pipe dreams, and they weren't something... Well, these goals weren't something that could be achieved by these guys. At least that's what these guys thought. Of course, that's never the case. Anyone can achieve anything as long as you're willing to work your ass off for it, do whatever it takes, never quit, take massive action, take little baby steps every day. You guys know the fundamentals by this point. So what I said, the advice that I gave to these two guys was, what I want you guys to start doing is start fantasizing about your goals. So start daydreaming, literally sit around during the day or while you're going about your day, while you're doing other stuff, and start fantasizing about what it would be like to achieve your goals. So for one guy in particular, it was making money. That was his main goal. That's what he's seeing me for coaching. And I said to him, I want you to start fantasizing about what it would actually be like to be rich. What would it be like to be able to go to a restaurant, spend $200 on expensive dinner, and not give a shit, like think nothing of it? What would it be like to, every time it's raining or it's too sunny outside or something, it's too hot outside, what would it be like to just be able to call Uber, or I sound like a fucking boober, use the Uber app and get an Uber rather than having to take public transport or drive yourself? What would it be like to be able to go to the shops and buy whatever clothes you want without even thinking about the price tag? What would it be like to walk past a homeless person and they say like, hey, can you spare any change? And you're like, of course, buddy, I got like fucking unlimited change. What would it be like to buy drinks for girls and not even think about it, or buy drinks for your mates and never even contemplate, oh, I hope they pay me back? What would it be like to look at your bank account and never stress about having to pay the bills? What would it be like being able to pay the bills 12 months in advance and not even give a shit about it? What would it be like to be earning more money than you can spend, like earning it quicker than you can spend it? Start fantasizing about all of these things and literally put yourself in that mindset. Like pretend to be that person. Imagine how it's going to feel when you get to that point. If your goal is something like getting laid, having an elite sex life, meeting a ton of women and having sex with them, what would it be like to have everyone in, say, my community or any other community be proud of you? What would it be like to be able to go on my forums and say, hey, I've had sex with 100 women. I finally did it. I finally just got my 100th lay. Holy shit. What would it be like to have everyone pat you on the back, tell you, holy crap, I respect you. I can't believe you've done this. What would it be like to have 50, 100, 200 newbies say, man, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. When I get to your level, or when I start really handling my sex life, I hope I can be even 10% of who you are and get to 10% of where you've gotten to. What would that stuff be like? What would it be like to have me treat you like more like a peer rather than someone that I'm coaching? What would it be like to get to my level so we can talk as peers and I can say, good job, dude. I'm glad you joined me on top of this mountain. What are you going to do next? Start fantasizing. I told these clients, and I'll tell you guys the same thing, start fantasizing. When you have a goal that you think you can't achieve, go through this fantasizing exercise. Start really, really, really daydreaming. Think about it when you're on the way to work. Think about it when you're on your lunch break. Think about it during work while you're going about your day. This was exactly what I did for the longest time. I still do it now, but when I didn't feel like I could get laid, when I felt like I was never going to get to my dating and sex goals, I thought there's no way in hell I can ever make it. Like, I'm a loser. Why the hell would I ever be a player? I had to fantasize and daydream about but if I could do it, what would it be like? And a lot of the time, you're not going to feel like it's possible. You're going to feel like you're kind of just wasting time daydreaming. Force yourself to do it. I know daydreaming, generally speaking, gets a really bad rap. People say, don't just sit there fantasizing. I've even heard people in our community say the same thing, like, don't fantasize. I'm telling you right now, fantasizing and daydreaming is absolutely fucking mandatory if you actually want to get to some sort of elite goal, whether it's sex, dating, money, gym, whatever it is. You need to fantasize about what it's going to be like when you get there. Think of fantasizing as a tool in your toolkit. It's just one tool that you can use to help motivate you, to help push you, to help you climb and ascend to that level. The reason that fantasizing gets a bad rap is because fantasizing by itself is bad. If you just fantasize and daydream and don't take any action, of course that's fucking bad. How is fantasizing going to get you to where you want to go? So that's why it gets a bad rap. I'm not going to tell you to just sit around fantasizing and do nothing else. You also need to be taking action, of course. You guys all know that. But fantasizing or daydreaming is the best way to, one, give yourself motivation to actually get to your goals, and then two, maybe even more importantly, convince yourself that it's possible. So if you have some massive goal, like let's say you want to get laid 50 times, right? Maybe 100 times, but let's say we'll just use 50. Let's say you want to get laid 50 times, and you think that's a bit of a pipe dream. I don't know if I can get there. I think that's impossible. Maybe that's for other guys. Maybe Andy could do that, but I'm not crazy like Andy or whatever. I can't do it. Insert random excuse here. Here's the reason why I can't do it, but Andy could and others can. Whatever. If you think that it's not possible and you think that 50 lays is like just a pipe dream, it's like some, undoable thing, you won't spend much time thinking about it, right? You might spend a little bit of time here and there, but if you genuinely don't think it's possible, you're not going to sit around all day thinking about it, right? Because that would just be weird. Why would you think about something that you think is impossible? So because you're not thinking about it very much, your brain is going to interpret that as, well, you've only thought about this 50 lays thing every now and then. Like maybe it comes up on a coaching call with me. Maybe you mention it every now and then on the forums. But like for the most part, you haven't spent much time thinking about this. So it's probably not likely to happen, right? Like if it was likely to happen, you'd be thinking about it a ton. It would be on your mind all the time. So what I'm telling you to do, so you're basically telling your brain, if you don't spend a lot of time thinking about this goal, you're telling your brain this isn't that important. It's not that doable. It's probably impossible. Otherwise, you'd be thinking about it all the time. So what I'm telling you to do is cheat. Literally cheat and get around that by forcing yourself. And you do have to fucking force yourself to do this. Force yourself to fantasize about that 50 lays. Make yourself do it for hours and hours and hours a day, as often as you possibly can. Whenever you think about it, make yourself say like, okay, I'm going to, like I walked you through before, start thinking like, what would it be like to get 100 lays? What would it be like to be cuddling in bed with that 100th girl? Like, what would it be like to look at her and be like, holy shit, like, I can't believe I did this. What would it be like to get validation from me, from the other people in the forums? Start fantasizing about all of that. Make yourself do it. And the more you think about it, once you get to a point where you've spent a lot of time thinking about it, guess what your brain is going to do? Your brain is going to interpret that as, wow, we've spent a lot of time thinking about this. Maybe this must be a possibility. Otherwise, we would have instantly dismissed this as nonsense, right? The fact that we have spent all this time thinking about it, daydreaming about it, fantasizing about it, I guess maybe we could actually achieve this. Like if this wasn't possible, we would have just said like, nah, that's dumb. Why would I waste 5 hours a day fantasizing about something that's not possible? The very fact that you have made yourself sit around fantasizing about it, you have tricked your brain into believing not only is this possible, this must be something we really want. Like if we didn't really want this, why would we be spending 5 hours a day thinking about it? Why would it be on our mind as we go about our day? Why is it always there? This was exactly what I did. It's a form of brainwashing and it fucking works. I'm telling you from personal experience and the experience of quite a few of my coaching clients now. This is one of the biggest tools that I give them. Fantasize, brainwash yourself, convince yourself that you really want these goals. Start thinking about what it's going to be like to get there, what it will be like to have these goals. Really, really, really fantasize, daydream about it, brainwash yourself. I'm telling you guys, this stuff absolutely works. I want you to be thinking about your goals and what it will. Don't just think about your goals. Think about what it will be like to achieve them, what it's going to be like when you get there, what the finish line is going to be like. Think about it when you're at work, when you're on the train, when you're doing the dishes, every single chance you get. Obsess about it. I'm telling you to obsess. I talk about that in the Tinder guide. I tell you that obsession is absolutely mandatory. If you have any big goals that you want to achieve, you need to obsess about it. You have to go all in. You have to just be thinking about it as much as you can force yourself to. And for the longest time, you won't believe that it's possible. I'm telling you that preemptively so you know that it's coming. The first time you sit down and really start to fantasize about your goals and what it's going to be like to get there, you'll have that voice in your head that says like, oh, that's lovely, that feels nice, but that's not going to happen for me, right? Because I'm short, or I'm Asian, or I'm fucking fat, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm not white, or I'm this. Whatever excuse will come up, right? I had a bad childhood. I don't live in a Western country. I'm old. Like whatever excuse comes up, your brain will fight you on it at first, but you need to force yourself to daydream about it, to fantasize, to keep going through this exercise. And after you do it enough times, after enough time sitting in that feeling of like what it will be like, you will start to have these little breakthroughs where your brain will go like, man, I really don't think I could do this, but like, what if I could? Like this would feel really nice. Like all this fantasizing I've been doing, making myself feel the same feelings that I will feel when I get there. What if I actually did get to feel these feelings? Like, what if I deserve to feel these? What if I actually succeeded at this? Man. And then that will make you start fantasizing about it even more intensely. Because now you're starting to believe that it might be possible. It's like Morpheus in the fucking Matrix, right? When Trinity says like, what is he doing? When Neo turns around to face one of the agents, and Morpheus is like, he's beginning to believe. That will happen for you guys. The more you do this, you'll get to a point where you're like, oh shit, like, could this be possible? You'll still have a million doubts. You'll still think like, nah, I don't think I can do this. This just seems like too big. But like, what if though? Keep doing it. Keep forcing yourself to fantasize about your goals and what it would be like to get there. And after enough times of doing this, you'll start thinking like, do you know what? I think maybe I could do this. Maybe there's a world in which I could do this. I don't think I could do this, but like maybe. Keep forcing yourself as weeks turn into months of you doing this, and you need to be taking action as well. You have to be taking action. You have to be like getting those little successes, those little wins each time. The more you build up those wins and those successes, and you start working towards your goals, maybe you're losing weight, maybe you're talking to more girls, whatever it is, as you build that up and keep this fantasizing exercise going, this needs to be like a permanent thing, by the way. I still fantasize to this day. I'll talk more about that in a second. As you start to build that up, that will become, your brain will start saying, okay, I think I can do this. Like I can see the path in front of me. I know how good it will feel to get there. I've already had some successes. Like I'm taking some action, some baby steps each day. I think I can do this. Eventually you get to a point where you're like, okay, it's hard. I may fail a million times. I think I'm pretty sure I can do this. And then eventually, once you've had enough success, you're like, of course I can fucking do this. Like you now at this point, anytime I set a new goal, I'm like, even if I have 10 million doubts and insecurities and uncertainties, I'm like, yeah, but like I felt like that before and I still succeeded. Of course I can do this. I spend a ton of time fantasizing about goals now. The current goal that I'm working on is obviously my financial goals, building this podcast, building my website, like getting to a point where I have money, where I can pay all the bills without stressing about fucking money every second. That's my current goal. I fantasize all the time, like every goddamn day. What would it be like to not have to stress about buying fucking groceries? What would it be like to not have to stress about the rent? What would it be like to know that I have more money coming in than I can spend? Like, what would it be like to just, be able to support myself, not have to stress? Like, what's all that stuff? What would it be like to not have to like be a fucking shill, or it feels like I'm a shill sometimes, or I have to like mention my coaching every single fucking podcast? What would it be like to be able to just relax, focus on content, know that my bills are handled, and just give you guys the most value that I can possibly give you? Because I can't do that at this point in time. I try and give as much value as I possibly can, but obviously I'm stressing about fucking making more money, right? I'm stressing about like making sure I can pay the goddamn bills. So I fantasize about like, what would it be like to get to that point where I can relax and everything is cool and I don't have to have anxiety. I can sleep at night. I can focus on the content. I use this fantasizing tool right now. It works brilliantly. I think it's something, scrap that. I know with 100% certainty it is something that I will do for the rest of my life. It has served me so unbelievably well. It has served everyone I've given this tool to, including my girlfriend, including a bunch of my coaching clients. This shit absolutely works. So the core points, fantasize about your goals, about what it will feel like to get there or when you get there. Really like brainstorm every single aspect of what it would be like to have it, like how other people would react to you having reached that goal, what it will feel like for you. Maybe you'll cry, maybe you'll be super happy. Like, start going through every aspect of what it will be like. You will have to force yourself when you first start it. Your brain will fight you. You probably won't believe it's possible. Keep doing it. It will take thousands of repetitions. This is something to make a part of your life rather than like some exercise you do. Start to make this a habit that you just do as you go about your daily life. All you really have to be doing is thinking about what it will be like to have your goal. This isn't a difficult thing to do. In fact, this is, once you start doing it, your brain won't shut the fuck up. Like, all you'll be thinking is like, man, I want to get to my goal. I want to get to my goal. I want to get to my goal. You'll be like a man possessed. You won't think of anything else. You won't want to, because you'll be so excited by, the allure of reaching your goal. And that will become like a magnet, like pulling you towards it. Like, it will become this inevitable thing. And there's another Matrix reference. It is inevitable. It'll be this inevitable thing. Your future is almost like a preordained destiny, because you'll be fantasizing about it so much that you'll just be pulled towards it, that you will start to feel like, man, it is inevitable that I reach my goal. That's very much how I felt for the last 2 years. Anytime I set a goal, I'm like, right, that's inevitable. As soon as I set the goal, I'm like, that's going to guaranteed happen. It has to, because I want it. And every time I want something bad enough, I fantasize about it for long enough that my brain starts to believe it's possible. I start obsessing about it, and it starts pulling me towards it. So use this as a tool to brainwash yourself into believing success is possible, into giving you that motivation. Become obsessed. I'm encouraging you guys to become obsessed with your goals. That's the only way to make something big happen, any sort of elite goal, any sort of goal worth having. I'll leave you with a Muhammad Ali quote that I saw on a poster outside my gym. I really love this quote. And it says, if your goals don't scare you, they aren't big enough. Fucking love that quote. I'll also give a shout out to, if you listen to all this and you think you'd benefit from coaching with me, go onto my website. There's a coaching page on there, or you can contact me at killyourinnerloser.com/coaching. Hit me up. I'll help you with sex, dating, losing weight, mental health, counseling, whatever it is you need help with. Happy to help.